Hello? Thank you for taking time for yourself again and joining me here. Today, let's explore together where our strength might be hiding. Tell me, does that feeling of morning stiffness sound familiar when your back feels like it doesn't belong to you, as if it was swapped for a wooden plank overnight? You wake up, and the first movement isn't joyful anticipation of the day, but a careful attempt to get up, accompanied by a quiet groan or sharp pain in your lower back. It's so common that many of us begin to think of it as normal, simply part of aging. But, often the culprit isn't age itself, but a few seemingly innocent morning habits. Picture your spine after a night's rest. It's as if it was asleep. The intervertebral discs have slightly plumped up with fluid during rest. The surrounding muscles are relaxed, but not yet warm or ready for abrupt stresses. And this is where, often unknowingly, we can injure it, like trying to rev a cold engine at full throttle or bend a delicate glass branch. Certain sudden movements, sitting up, bending, twisting, that we do automatically literally wear down our spine, causing it to age faster than nature intended. It's like constantly pulling a thread in an old sweater. Sooner or later, it will start to unravel. But there's good news. By replacing just a few of these movements with gentler ones, you can feel incredible relief. Less pain in the morning, more flexibility throughout the day, a feeling of lightness in your back, and even an improved mood. Because after all, when nothing hurts, the world seems brighter. And I promise, these will be very simple, accessible changes for everyone, requiring no special preparation or significant effort. Let's break down these tricky morning habits together and learn how to greet the new day with care for our backs. Stay with me. This will be genuinely helpful. Sudden sit up from bed. So, the first habit we often don't even notice. The alarm rings, or it's simply time to get up, and what do? That's right, we abruptly sit up in bed, using our abs and back muscles like a lever. Imagine a stack of carefully piled porcelain plates. These are your vertebrae and the discs between them. If you suddenly jerk this stack upwards, what happens? It might tilt, the plates could shift, or even crack. The same thing happens to your spine at that moment. There's intense, uneven pressure on the discs, especially in the lumbar region. What to replace it with? Instead of a sharp forward sit-up, master the log roll. It's very simple. Lying on your back, first bend your knees. Then, carefully turn onto your side, moving your whole body at once, without twisting your lower back. Only then, pushing off with your top hand and bottom elbow, smoothly lower your legs off the bed and lift your torso into a sitting position. Your back should remain as straight as possible throughout. Let me tell you about Andrew. He's 68. Every morning started as an ordeal for him. He had always been active, but in recent years, morning lower back pain became his constant companion. He would wake up and, groaning, jerk himself into a sitting position because that's how he was used to it. It seemed faster. "I'm not decrepit, I don't need to dawdle," he'd tell his wife. He tried ointments, light exercises, but the relief was temporary. When his daughter, a physiotherapist, suggested the log roll, he initially dismissed it. "What nonsense? Rolling like a baby?" he grumbled. It seemed slow, clumsy, even humiliating for a grown man. But the pain persisted, and he decided to try it, just to prove to his daughter it wouldn't work. Imagine his surprise when, after just a couple of days, he noticed the difference. The pain upon getting up was significantly less. He described it like this: "Before it felt like my back was breaking in half, and now I just get up. No drama." Physiologically, it's simple. With the log roll, the load on the spine is distributed evenly. There's no sudden pressure on the discs, and muscles engage smoothly. Psychologically, for Andrew, it was a revelation. He realized that taking care of himself isn't a sign of weakness, but a manifestation of wisdom. He started his days calmer, without the morning feat of overcoming pain. Your spine in the morning is like a tender sprout. Help it wake up gently, without jerks. Try this smooth roll, and you'll be surprised how much easier your morning becomes. Sudden twisting to reach something. The next point, very common. You're still lying down or have just sat up on the bed, and you need to grab something from the nightstand. Your phone, a glass of water, glasses. What do you do instinctively? You turn your upper body, reach with your arm, while your pelvis and legs stay put. Does that click in your back or unpleasant pulling sensation sound familiar? That's your spine signaling overload. Imagine a rope woven from many fibers. If you constantly twist it in the same spot, especially when it's cold and inelastic, the fibers start to get damaged, and eventually, the rope might just break. Similarly, morning twisting affects your intervertebral discs and ligaments. It's one of the common causes of sudden sharp pain, a shooting pain. What to replace it with? There are two simple options. Either turn your whole body towards the nightstand as a single unit without twisting at the waist. Or, if you're already sitting, first stand up completely, then turn and grab the item you need. Yes, it takes a couple of seconds longer, but it's an investment in your back's health. Meet Barbara. She's 72. She was always very organized. Everything had its place. Her phone and glass of water, always on the nightstand to her right. Every morning, still half asleep, she habitually turned right to check the time or take a sip of water. Sometimes she felt mild discomfort, like something wasn't quite right, but attributed it to the weather or sleeping wrong. She thought, "What's the big deal, just turning?" Everyone does it. One day, this simple movement ended in sharp pain that took her breath away. For several days, she could barely move. Her doctor explained the danger of morning twists for a cold spine. Barbara found it hard to adjust. At first, she'd start to twist out of habit and catch herself. Turning her whole body or deliberately standing up felt awkward. So many extra movements, she complained to her friend. But remembering the pain, she persistently forced herself. Gradually, the new habit stuck. She hasn't had those shooting pains since. She shared, "I feel more secure now. It's like my back says, thank you for stopping the morning torture, and that feeling of control over my body, it's priceless." Physiologically, by avoiding twisting, we don't put the discs at risk of displacement or herniation, especially when they are most vulnerable after the night. Psychologically, Barbara got rid of the subconscious fear of sudden pain that had clouded her mornings. Don't test your spine's strength with twists right after waking up. Turn your whole body. Let this become your new morning ritual of self-care. Bending forward with a straight back and legs to put on slippers or socks. So, you've sat up on the bed, and the next action is putting on slippers or socks. How do you do it? Most of us bend forward from the waist, with a straight or slightly rounded back, reaching towards the floor. At this moment, your spine acts like a crane with a very long boom, and there's almost no counterweight. The entire load falls on the lumbar discs, compressing them with enormous force. Imagine trying to lift a heavy bucket, holding it with outstretched arms. Very difficult, right? But if you hold the bucket close to your body, much easier. It's the same with bending. Bending from the waist creates a huge lever that multiplies the pressure on your lower back many times over. What to replace it with? The safest way is to sit on the edge of the bed or a chair. Pull one leg towards you, bending it at the knee. You can place your foot on the other thigh if your flexibility allows, and calmly put on your sock or slipper. Then repeat with the other leg. If you need to pick something up from the floor near the bed, don't bend over but squat down with a straight back, bending your knees and hips as if sitting on a low stool. Meet Michael. He's 65. Michael always prided himself on being still got it and tried to do everything quickly, like a young man. Every morning, sitting on the bed, he'd bend down to his slippers with a characteristic effort and a quiet, "Ugh." Sometimes his lower back would ache all day afterward. He thought it was just sciatica acting up or time to change the mattress. The idea that he himself was causing the problem with this simple movement never crossed his mind. How else are you supposed to put on slippers? Not bend down like an old man, he thought. His son, seeing his struggle, showed him how to pull his leg up towards him. Michael found it fussy. He resisted. Am I going to do gymnastics here? But his son was persistent, and Michael, just to get him off his back, started trying. Awkwardly at first, then more confidently. And after a week, he admitted with surprise, my back hurts less in the mornings. He shared, it's like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. I used to get up already anticipating that nagging pain, and now I just get up and go. Turns out, you don't have to suffer. Physiologically, when you pull your leg towards you while sitting or squatting, the load on the lumbar discs is minimal. The muscles of the legs and hips do the work, while the back remains in a safe position. Psychologically, Michael stopped viewing back care as a sign of old age and saw it as a sensible approach to maintaining his activity level. Don't make your lower back work like a crane every morning. Befriend your legs, pull them towards you, or squat. Your back will thank you. Slouching over the sink while washing your face or brushing your teeth. All right, you've gotten up, made it to the bathroom. Next up, washing your face, brushing your teeth, and another trap. We lean over the sink, our back rounds, shoulders slump forward. We spend several minutes in this position, day after day. Imagine a bridge. If its arch sags under load, the entire structure experiences stress. Your spine is also a kind of bridge, and when you slouch over the sink, you create prolonged static tension in the muscles of your back and neck, and the discs are again put in a disadvantageous position, especially in the cervical and thoracic regions. What to replace it with? Try to keep your back as straight as possible. Here are a few ways. Gaum. Slightly bend your knees and hips, leaning forward with your entire torso from the hips, not the waist. This is called a hip hinge. 2. Rest one hand on the edge of the sink to take some load off your back. 3. Place one foot slightly forward, bending the knee as if in a small lunge. This also helps keep the back straighter and redistribute the load. Listen to Elizabeth's story. She's 70. She always suffered from tension in her neck and shoulders, often complaining of headaches by evening. In the morning, like many, she'd lean over the sink without much thought about her posture. Well, how else? The sink is low, she'd say. She thought her neck problems were from her sedentary job in the past, or from drafts. When an instructor at her wellness exercise class pointed out the importance of keeping the back straight even during such routine tasks, Elizabeth was skeptical. Do these 2 minutes at the sink really matter that much? She doubted. It felt unnatural and uncomfortable to stand differently. She tried leaning on the sink, but would forget. She tried bending her knees. It felt strange, but the instructor advised her to simply imagine a light ruler lying on her back that shouldn't fall off. This image helped. Elizabeth started consciously monitoring her posture at the sink, and, to her immense surprise, after a couple of weeks, she noticed her neck felt less tired by the end of the day, and her headaches became less frequent. She shared, "It's like, my wings have unfurled. I had no idea such a small thing could have such an impact. I even stand straighter now in general, as if my back remembered what it's like to be straight. Physiologically, maintaining a neutral spine position prevents overloading muscles and ligaments and supports normal blood circulation and nerve function." Psychologically, Elizabeth felt she could actively influence her well-being even in the most mundane situations, which gave her confidence. Your back deserves royal posture even at the sink. Remember to keep your back straight, hinge at the hips, or find support. These minutes of care will give you hours of comfort. Lifting or carrying heavy items. Immediately after waking, e.g. a laundry basket. Sometimes, household chores need doing right away in the morning. For example, carrying a basket of dirty laundry to the bathroom or bringing something in from the balcony. And we, still not fully awake, not warmed up, grab this weight and carry it, often with a rounded back, straining only our arms and lower back. Picture your spine at this moment as the central support of a building that hasn't yet stabilized after the night. Muscles aren't ready. And suddenly, an extra weight is thrust upon it, often unevenly. This is a direct path to microtraumas of the discs and ligaments, which accumulate and eventually lead to chronic pain. What to replace it with? Firstly, if possible, postpone carrying heavy items for at least half an hour to an hour after waking up. Give your body time to warm up. Secondly, if you must lift something immediately, do it correctly. Get as close to the object as possible. Squat down with a straight back, bending your knees. Don't bend over. Grab the load with both hands and lift, using the strength of your legs, keeping your back straight. Carry the load as close to your body as possible. If the basket is too heavy, divide it into 2 loads. Here's Robert. He's 75. He lives alone and is used to doing everything himself. He had a ritual. Wake up, get dressed, gather the laundry accumulated overnight into a basket, and immediately carry it to the laundry room in the basement. The basket was often heavy. He'd pick it up by bending over and haul it, feeling the strain in his back. Need to get it done and forget about it, he thought. Afterward, his back often responded with a dull ache, especially when climbing stairs. He thought it was just old age, joints wearing out. His neighbor, a former athlete, once saw Robert struggling with the basket and gently advised him to lift correctly by squatting and not to do it right after waking up. Robert initially brushed him off. "What do you know? I've done it this way my whole life." Squatting seemed time-consuming and hard on his knees, but the neighbor demonstrated the correct way a few times, and Robert reluctantly decided to try. He started doing a light warm-up first, then tackled the basket by squatting and keeping his back straight. He also began taking laundry down more often, in smaller batches. The effect amazed him. The back pain after the laundry trip almost disappeared. He shared, "I thought that was it, the end for my back. Turns out I was wrecking it myself. Now I feel stronger somehow. And my knees, by the way, hurt less too when I squat correctly." Physiologically, the correct lifting technique transfers the load from the vulnerable lower back to the strong muscles of the legs and hips, and a preliminary warm-up prepares the muscles and ligaments for work. Psychologically, Robert regained a sense of control over his body and stopped perceiving household tasks as an inevitable evil for his back. Don't load your back with heavy weights when it's cold. Let it wake up, and if you need to lift something, do it smartly, using leg strength and a straight back. Your back is not a truck. Intense stretching of cold muscles, e.g., deep forward bend to toes. And the final, sixth point. Some of us, especially those trying to stay fit, start the morning with exercises or stretching, and that's wonderful, but there's a nuance. If you immediately, without a warm-up, start doing deep forward bends, trying to reach your toes, or other intense stretches, you risk not improving flexibility, but actually harming yourself. Imagine a rubber band that's been left out in the cold. If you stretch it suddenly, it might crack or tear. Your muscles and ligaments in the morning are somewhat like that cold rubber band. They aren't elastic yet, not warmed up. Intense stretching in this state can lead to microtears in muscle fibers or ligaments, causing pain and stiffness, and in the long run, reduced tissue elasticity. What to replace it with? Start your morning with gentle joint mobility exercises and dynamic warm-ups. Smooth rotations of the head, shoulders, arms, pelvis, knees, ankles. Light stretches without forcing it. Only then, when the body has warmed up a bit, after 5 to 10 minutes of such movements, can you move on to deeper static stretching if you practice it. And always listen to your body. Stretching should bring a pleasant sensation of lengthening, not pain. Susan, 67. She had always been flexible and took pride in it. Every morning, the first thing she did was try a forward bend to see if she could touch the floor with her palms. Sometimes it was easy, other times she felt sharp pain behind her knees or in her lower back, and then her muscles felt wooden all day. She'd get upset. Am I losing my flexibility? I need to stretch even harder. She didn't understand why stretching felt good sometimes and so painful other times. Her friend, who practiced yoga, advised her never to do deep stretches on a cold body. Warm up first, breathe, move around, and then stretch, she said. Susan was skeptical at first. I've always done it this way. But she decided to experiment. She started her morning with a 5-minute joint warm-up, rotating her arms, legs, doing gentle side bends. Only then did she try her favorite forward bend, and lo and behold, the bend became easier, painless, and the feeling of stiffness after stretching disappeared. She shared, "It's like I got reacquainted with my body. Turns out, it just needed a little time to wake up. Now stretching brings me only pleasure, not fear of pain. And my flexibility, by the way, has actually improved." Physiologically, a warm-up improves blood circulation in the muscles, increases their temperature and elasticity, preparing them for stretching. Psychologically, Susan got rid of the frustration and guilt about losing flexibility and learned a gentler, more mindful approach to her body. So, there you have it, my dear friends. 6 simple but very important points. Perhaps you recognized yourself in one of these habits. Please, don't blame yourself for it. We do these things for years, simply because we're used to them, because no one showed us a better way before. But your wisdom and life experience, that's your strength. You've been through a lot, and you definitely know that self-care isn't selfishness, but a necessity, especially now. You deserve to greet every morning without pain, with lightness in your body and joy in your soul. Remember, your spine is the pillar of your entire life, and it will be grateful for these small changes. You can start with just one thing. whatever seemed most important or easiest to you. Try getting up differently tomorrow morning, turning differently, bending more carefully. A small step today is a big investment in your well-being tomorrow and for many years to come. Believe in yourself, in your power to change habits for the better. You can do it, I'm sure of it. Be healthy and take care of yourself.